Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Apa Cerita bersama saya Ashraf Khalid
dan Ishraq Kamaruddin.
And also today kita ada tetamu istimewa, Vincent from Joey Mattress.
Yes.
So happy to be here. Very excited.
Thank you so much for joining us also, Vincent.
Yeah, thank you. And of course you are the first ever guest for our book club.
Correct.
So this is our third episode for the book club.
Yes.
The first one we did Think and Grow Rich. The second one we did
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
I watched both the episodes. I loved them, man.
Thank you so much.
So, and I was quite surprised also. We got a lot of positive comment, which is why we thought, okay, we want to continue doing this.
Correct.
And today we picked a very special book. Buku yang sangat
with a
istimewa.
very special guest.
Yeah, we have a very special guest. And this book is called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Yeah. So Stephen Covey wrote this book dah lama dah awak, from the 1989, which is about 3 years after I was born.
Before you were born.
Before I was born, yeah. So buku ni agak, boleh kata agak lama.
Correct.
But I think sampai hari ni buku ni masih relevant. And also I think a lot of CEOs still use this for
untuk suruh staff.
Yeah, when they talk.
Salah satu CEO adalah aku.
Yeah.
Aku ada stock, aku hand out to all my staff.
Yeah,
and then baru hand out satu.
Bagi saya.
Vincent curi.
And this one is also Wak punya buku juga kat depan ni. Dia punya copy. So I think this book memang something yang memang banyak orang can relate to, and also something people find very powerful juga. And
correct.
Okay, before we start kan, I want to ask Vincent kan, what was your reaction when you first read the book?
So I first read the book when I was 20 years old. So at that time, around like 17, 18, 19 years old, was a very a point of time that I'm very lost in life. And then I didn't know like what I wanted to do. Plus, on top of it, I was facing a lot of like challenges, like family challenges and financial challenges, all at the same time. I was blaming my circumstances. I was blaming like why other people have more things than I do. Why can't I have a better car? Why does my car always break down? And it was a lot about like focusing on things in the book. They say it, circle of concern. A lot of like focusing on those kind of things. But after reading this book, giving me the framework to think about things, on what I can do about things, really changed my life from there. 20 years old, I read this book 2-3 times, and really
when you were 20 though.
Yeah, when I was 20. Yeah.
So this book actually gave an impact to you. You had a paradigm shift after reading
shift, a huge one.
Kan?
Yeah, just now bila aku sampai, aku tanya, today we're gonna do 7 habits. Yeah, that book changed my life. I said, save it. It changed my life too, but save it.
I was gonna share. I nak share. Wait. Nanti kita share dalam podcast.
Tapi buku ni adalah satu buku yang sangat penting. Lebih 40 juta kopi sold dalam 40 bahasa.
Betul,
40 juta naskah. 40
betul.
bahasa. And macam Up cakap tadi, ramai CEO share dengan ni. And for you, Up, when was the first time you read this book? And apa kau punya
when my
perasaan?
first time was in when I was 20, 21 like that. And for me this was my third or fourth book. I first read Think and Grow Rich. So when I read this, for me it was more clear juga. And like it was more dia ada framework dia sendiri kan, macam dalam Think and Grow Rich is more principle kan. But I think this one is easier for us to understand, and for me it really helped lah with the way I see things. In fact, banyak benda yang sampai hari ni when I talk about, right, I still reference it to this book. Sometimes I don't give the reference lah, but what I say is usually coming out from this book juga kan. So I think it's a very powerful book. And what about yourself, Wak?
For me, aku pun first time baca. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I cannot remember. But kalau aku tak silap, kau yang recommend. Antara buku-buku lah, Think and Grow Rich, The Secret.
The Secret.
Then
The Secret.
7 Habits kan. So I think Up yang recommend. And to me, like same as Vincent, it changed my life because dia berubah fikir. And aku rasa aku baca right after aku left Madam Izara.
When you started.
Right. And aku start kerja kat Asia. So that's when the first book yang aku baca lepas tu. And aku rasa buku ni why it changes my life, pasal buku ni membuat aku nak baca lagi banyak buku. Right? Because you nak powerkan diri you and what not. And at the same time, there was, if I'm not mistaken, it's dalam this book where dia ada satu perkataan tu, the phrase dia cakap, to learn but not to do is not to learn. Maksudnya if you learn tapi you tak apply, macam tak belajar. So I think it's from this book if I'm not mistaken lah. Right? So that's one of the reasons, and I read so many books because of this book. So kalau orang semua tanya, aku cakap baca buku ni dulu, lepas tu you boleh
baca buku lain.
baca buku
Because it's
lain.
quite an easy read, right?
Correct.
In a way.
It sets the foundation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And they say it's timeless. Why? Timeless. Apa maksud timeless? Is I read every year. I think I read more than 10 times. And setiap tahun I baca, I dapat output
New
yang berbeza.
Yeah.
A new
Same,
aha.
same.
Every year is different output. That's when tu masuk dia orang timeless. You know? Because you can read it as much
Dia macam
as you
hari
can.
raya lah, tiap-tiap tahun lagu sama je tapi ada the same
sikit lah.
feeling you still get the
Yeah, because kita pun dalam fasa-fasa hidup kita yang berbeza kan.
Yeah,
Jadi
betul.
kita dapat input yang berbeza.
And I think that is also very true. Macam you realise when kita dalam setiap fasa kehidupan kita, apa ilmu yang perlu kita akan dapat.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? In a way God will send us the right knowledge.
Yeah.
Kan Tuhan akan hantar kita ilmu yang betul pada masa yang tepat juga.
Betul. Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah. So okay, let's go right into the book.
Okay, tapi sebelum kita nak go right into the book up, aku just nak give a bit of a context untuk semua pendengar-pendengar di luar sana. Is buku ni dibahagikan kepada 7 habit as chapter and nama buku, title buku tu might say. But sebelum tu dia akan start dengan character first, inside out. Maksudnya daripada you punya watak. So what does it mean inside out? Kita akan discusskan. Then kita akan go habit 1 ke habit 3, which is private victory.
Win
Yang
with
ni
yourself.
menang diri. Kalau dalam bahasa English macam apa cakap, win with self. Habit 4 ke 6 means public victory. Maksudnya menang bersama dengan team and what not. And then habit 7 is renewal. Sharpen the saw, maksudnya continuously improvekan diri kita. So ni 7 habit dia, which kita akan mendalam lagi. And apart from that is also maturity continuum. Maksudnya kita upgrade dari level apa. Number 1, dependence. Kita dependent dengan orang. Kedua punya level, independence. Maksudnya orang depend on kita tak depend on orang.
Sama-sama.
Independent.
Interdependent.
Lepas tu last, interdependence. Orang depend dengan kita. Daripada apa aku ingat
Kita pun depend on orang
correct.
lain. Yeah.
Both way kan.
ways, yes, both
kita
ways.
depend
Sebab
orang,
dia
orang depend.
Ah.
Interdependence.
Yeah.
Nampak bagus. Sebab tu
Yeah.
kena ada 3 third guess.
Betul.
Betul tak?
Sebab dia memang macam betul-betul
Bookworm lah.
Macam tadi I cakap kan, ulat buku.
macam Wak ni, dia cakap dia baca 10 kali tapi I tahu dia glance je.
I like to banter him.
Glance, unglance, listen, read, macam-macam lah.
yang
Tapi
penting
campur-campur. Yang penting
apply.
to learn but not to do is not to learn.
Yeah.
Penting apply.
Betul.
Okay, so
That one I can agree on.
yes.
Kan?
Tanpa melengahkan masa, mari kita dive in.
Yeah. Not
Okay.
just you that want to learn Malay, he also needs to learn Malay.
I want to learn together lah.
Tapi daripada first episode aku rasa
Yeah,
improve
I think
banyak.
much better.
I improve a lot daripada
Oh my God.
sendiri self-proclaim. Tapi okay, mari kita dive into nombor 1. Set context dulu.
Yeah, I think first kali kita nak buka dengan satu cerita lah.
Ya. Kau nak cerita tu
I think the first cerita ni I think is also inside the book kan, di mana ada seorang bapa ni, dia tengah duduk diam je, and then anak-anak dia semua tengah berlari-lari dekat train station ni tau. Lepas tu ada satu lagi orang ni, dia jadi marah. So
Bising
dia bising
dalam-
and then dia tegur mamat tu. And then mamat tu jawab perlahan, dia
Dia
cakap,
tegur macam mana? Kau boleh tak suruh anak-anak kau diam?
ya,
Kan?
something
Marah.
like that lah,
Tengah
marah because of course lah kan, dekat train dia tengah ni kan, so naturally they would think like that. And then mamat tu jawab, sorry, saya bawa balik daripada hospital, mak saya baru je meninggal sejam lalu. Kan, so this thing is the same situation tapi it has 2 different meanings.
Correct.
Betul tak? Before that you nampak dia sebagai seorang parent yang tak erti jaga anak. But when you start to understand, actually mak dia baru meninggal, no wonder he's feeling like that. No wonder he's lost. No wonder dia tak jaga anak dia apa semua kan.
Correct.
So I think that is a powerful story. And maybe Winston, you want to add anything on the story and maybe what you learn from it?
I think tadi yang you kata ni paradigm shift lah.
Paradigm
So
shift.
yeah, so like 2 different perspective kan. At first you ingat, kenapa ni orang dia tak jaga dia punya anak-anak. Then in the second perspective, suddenly you learn that dia baru ada someone close to dia pass away, then suddenly it's so easy to understand like kenapa like this person is allowing their kids to just run. So I think a lot of times dalam hidup kita ada banyak paradigm shift macam ni where you're looking at the same thing but dia ada two side, and then two side pun true punya picture.
Betul.
So
And yeah, I think when you add more context to it, then you start to understand the full picture. Then you might understand a certain situation better. I think bila kita dengan staff kita pun sama juga. Sometimes kita cakap, saya kena
Asal dia
lembab
tak
sangat
faham,
kau ni kan. So bodoh sangat ni kan. Rupanya memang dia tak belajar. Memang dia tak pergi sekolah daripada dulu. Memang dia tak ada any background on it. Contoh.
Correct.
So what we need to do is we have to teach them lah. Guide them lah.
Fahamkan dulu.
Faham dulu. Kan.
Kadang-kadang ada orang pun macam cara dia membawa diri, dia tak ada adab, for example. Tapi kita tengok macam mana daripada keluarga, cara dia membesar. Mungkin keluarga dia tak ada masa, mak bapak dia tak ada masa nak ajar atau apa-apa kan. So kita share dengan dia apa cara dia or what not. Tapi basically the whole idea is paradigm shift in terms kita boleh nampak benda yang sama, tetapi daripada fikiran yang lain kita nampak benda tu berbeza. Right?
Yeah, and I think kalau kita nak ambil this thing within a different type of context juga, kita ambil someone yang very tough punya life versus someone yang super privileged punya life.
Yeah.
Kan? So the one that contohlah you hidup dekat flat and then you must balik rumah je, bawah flat tu ada geng gaduh. You naik rumah je, mak bapak pula tengah bergaduh, tengah fight, your sibling pun tengah, you know, everything is just a mess. Everything is just banyak masalah. You pergi sekolah pun cikgu maki you, baju you kotor. Kenapa baju you kotor? Tak ada siapa nak sebenarnya nak cuci,
nak jaga,
baju
nak
you
ajar.
semua. Kan? That life. Versus someone that is so privileged, someone that was given the right education, daripada kecil dah ada private mentor, private teacher come to the house and teach, ada private coaching for swimming, ada private lessons for piano. Kan? The way these two people see life
Berbeza. Betul?
Like this person might see life and say, life is so hard. It's impossible for you to be successful. Why would you want to help others? You want to kill others because others also kill you. But the other side, dia akan rasa macam the world is full of possibility. You know?
Macam-macam.
I want to help more people because I know when I help more people, I get more things. You know, God bless me in more ways, kan? So sebenarnya kebanyakan orang punya kehidupan ni is also shaped by what happened to their life.
Correct.
Betul tak?
Betul.
Kan? So yeah, I think that's also
Basically reality versus apa kita punya tafsiran atas reality tu.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so we move on next to bab asas. Sebelum kita go into the first habit, the next bab asas is inside out. Maksudnya dari dalam keluar. Okay, so maybe this one we can talk with you juga, Winston. So inside out secara intipati is basically sebelum kita buat apa-apa, dia daripada dalam kita keluar. So this one kita kena faham sebelum kita masuk ke bab habit 1. So apa maksud inside out ni is prinsip macam hukum alam. Gravity tak kira kau setuju atau tak, hidup selari berkesan jangka panjang.
So, apa yang ingat pasal inside out ni is more of principle versus values lah. Kan? Macam of course we need to have more prinsip. Dia tak boleh macam contoh kita korbankan dia macam angsa dengan telur ayam
kan.
kan.
Principle dengan kita punya values.
Yeah.
Yep.
So kita jangan korbankan keupayaan kita untuk menghasilkan demi hasil yang segera. You get what I mean?
I remember that. Yeah. PPC.
Yeah, PPC. Yeah.
correct.
PPC.
Yeah. So maybe you can explain a bit on PPC?
Like you said lah, angsa dengan
The goose, golden goose.
Yeah,
goose and the egg. I think this one is related to chapter 7, habit 7 lah. Like I have something to
Sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw. Yeah, I have something to share. But we go to habit 7 first.
Nanti baru kita tengok.
nanti saya share.
Okay,
Alright,
basically inside out ni daripada dalam keluar. Rather than kita ambil bagi aku lah, explaining of inside out is rather than you take external environment, it's from internally to outside. That's the inside out lah, as a kita punya watak character. Okay, now let's start with habit 1. Okay, sekarang baru the fun.
Yeah, the
Yes.
fun part begins.
Okay, so chapter 1, habit 1, be proactive. Basically kalau dalam bahasa Melayu maksudnya jadi proaktif.
Dia proaktif versus reaktif.
Correct.
Ya, orang yang proaktif ni dia macam Zaidil tu kan. Dia akan selalu ambil langkah untuk buat something. Orang reaktif
We
ni
just interviewed this guy Zaidil lah.
I saw the video just went out.
Correct.
That one very proactive guy. So and also versus yang reaktif ni, bagi dia setiap apa yang berlaku semua salah, ataupun dia akan just react and like emotion.
Correct.
So they refuse to take any responsibility lah.
Betul.
Yeah.
Maybe I can add on, kalau macam be proactive ni, dia yang selalu take initiative. Dia yang selalu buat segala sebelum orang suruh. Kalau staff or even if I'm pretty sure all of us, nobody ask you to start. Tak ada siapa suruh you start Joey Mattress.
Betul.
Right?
Yeah.
So you did the being proactive yourself.
The
to
behavior
start.
comes from choices
Betul.
rather than condition.
Yes,
Betul.
yes.
Kan?
Betul.
Cuba okay, kita ambil a very simple example macam Joey Winston punya example kan. At that time when you were down, right? You could have just macam be reactive and blame other people, blame the government, blame your parents, blame everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead you were proactive and you took a step to build the Joey Mattress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kan? That is huge lah. That is what changed a person's life.
Correct.
Kan? Okay lah, you ada masalah. So what you want me to do with your masalah? You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
exactly.
You
Yeah.
got to find a way to solve it. You know you don't have money, kan? So what do? You go find money lah.
Betul.
You get what I mean? Rather than you complain about not having money every day.
Betul.
Your complaint won't get you anywhere.
Exactly.
Kan?
Exactly. Yeah,
And
betul.
nobody's gonna give you money anyways.
Yeah,
you
betul.
complain, sometimes when you complain, you think like, oh, maybe this guy kesian you, will give you money. No, they will think this guy so dumb.
Yeah.
Kan? This guy memang tak ada harapan lah kan. So and this guy is like lost. Kan? You won't think oh kesian dia. Kan? So that's why people have to understand juga. You have to take steps to get out of your problem rather than staying there and complaining and blaming others on what happened kan.
I want to go a little bit deeper on this just now because you shared like I think when you are in that situation kalau you dalam situation yang sangat teruk, like let's say the situation Ashraf you shared tadi tentang the flat person, just think about for a moment, kita orang tu, it's actually very hard to be proactive. Like you balik rumah dekat flat you, then people fighting there, like affecting your peacefulness. Nothing you can do. You go back home, ibu bapa gaduh, nothing you can do. And then like you have no washing machine, tak boleh basuh baju. Then your baju come out very dirty and then like it's like very wrinkly. Nothing you can do. You don't have iron, you don't have washing machine. So when you're in that situation, it's very hard to
Get out.
Be proactive lah.
be proactive.
Yeah.
But this book, you read and then it will start showing you the ways how there's always a choice. Like dalam situation yang berapa teruk pun, you have a choice to choose that. Okay, my shirt is like kotor but wrinkly, but that doesn't mean that I'm a bad student. I can still study. I can still like focus in class.
As a choice lah.
As a choice, yeah. And then you can change your life from there. Like you cannot change like people fighting downstairs, but maybe change the route. Don't see them find another route to go back home. So there's always this choice there lah. Nobody can take this choice away.
Betul.
Yeah.
And if you think at home banyak sangat problem, spend more time in the library, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So always like you said, there is always, of course, if we talk to the person that is in that situation, we cannot be so blind lah. We have to ni lah kan. We have to try to understand whatever they are going through. But I think you are 100% right lah.
Yep.
At that position, mesti susah untuk kita nak keluar daripada masalah pemikiran.
Now I remember Inside Out. This is what it means. Like for us, like three of us, it's easy to say be proactive lah. Just be proactive. Tapi the person listening to that will be like, it's easy for you to say.
Senang lah kau cakap.
Senang kau cakap. But the thing is, it has to come from inside out lah. This person understanding this inside out, read this book, for example, then you start realizing, hey, actually, what we're saying here, being proactive, is actually the only thing you can do when you're in a situation.
I can give you some example kan, because you also mentioned choice. So kita ada beberapa banyak, I mean dekat apa cerita is people's story life. kan. Jadi
Life
it's all
story.
about choices.
Yeah.
Dari dia kecil sampai dia besar, choices dia dalam setiap
Apa yang dia
langkah-langkah.
buat, yeah.
So we asked you, apa you punya choice? Kenapa you pilih sambung belajar sambil kerja? Because you take the third choice. Betul tak? When we ask, why don't you go study or work straight? You said, I took the third choice, which is doing both. Right? And we also had, kita ada siapa kawan kau up yang dalam wheelchair?
Oh, Nizam.
Yang dalam wheelchair, he can only move a finger. But it was his choice to be a multi-millionaire, and dia run dia punya
Business.
perfume. He had like at one point berpuluh
Yeah, they were
perfume
doing,
store.
yeah.
And he managed through voice and camera.
Wow.
From home.
Yeah. And he didn't have much choice, bro.
Betul.
He only had a finger
On a
to move.
finger.
Only one finger can move.
Yeah.
And the sister do TikTok live.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all.
but now dia pun tengah hadapi quite a tough challenge juga lah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he will go through it, and I'm sure he will find a way to get out of it.
Ya.
Kan?
So itu salah satu contoh, ada banyak lagi contoh. Sekarang ni guest kita quite famous, Catherine daripada Santan. So she was offered untuk become the head of in-flight of the whole AirAsia group to revamp how airline food is. I think you also know about Santan. You know Santan.
Yeah.
I know everybody knows Santan, and almost everybody know Catherine thanks to us.
She should belanja as Tomahawk lah.
He should at least bare minimum, right? Yeah, so Catherine took the choice also, like how we said, be proactive. She was offered because she has always been proactive, and she said that when you're a diamond, no matter where you go, you still shine like a diamond because proactiveness. So sama juga dengan Zaidil also said the same thing. No matter where you go, you shine. So this is another example of being proactive. She tanpa experience F&B, zero experience F&B. Similar to you guys, zero experience in bed, but you have a bad back slip disc. But that's more taking initiative, maksudnya be proactive.
Yeah.
Okay, so kita
Yeah,
wrap
and
up.
I think aku nak tambah juga, proaktif ni kan, dia bukan macam kita lawan tawakal tau. Sebab redha ni kan, sometimes kita cakap kita kena just redha kan. But redha tu adalah lepas kita dah usaha.
Betul.
So
Proaktif ni usaha tu lah.
usaha tu lah. Which aku rasa benda tu penting lah.
Yeah.
You have to start with usaha lah.
Correct.
Barulah benda tu akan jadi.
Yeah, do your best, let Allah do the rest.
Betul.
Right? So we wrap up the first be proactive ni habit. Basically antara apa yang berlaku dan response kita ada ruang. Di situ ada freedom, kebebasan. Okay, so next habit,
Yes.
habit 2.
Begin with an end in mind.
Kalau dalam bahasa Melayu,
Mulakan dengan pengakhiran.
Correct.
Okay. So I think begin with an end in mind ni, for me personally, it's very close to me because it's umpama macam dream lah.
Correct.
Kan kita dah tahu dah ke mana kita nak capai kan. Maksudnya sama juga macam I selalu cakap kan, whenever you want to go out of your house kan, you kena letak where you want to go already.
Correct.
The way, so that you sampai lah tempat tu kan.
Technically waste is the
End in
best
mind lah.
example lah.
Yeah.
End in mind.
Yeah, so I think ini banyak benda orang tak buat.
Betul.
Sebab bagi dia orang macam tak apalah, kita go through lah, tengoklah nanti macam
Aku
mana.
panggil floating.
Floating kan. But
Float
when you
through
have
life.
when you have an end in mind, sometimes sama penting kan, macam mungkin aku umur 60 kot baru aku boleh jadi boss, boleh jadi CEO, atau 50 baru boleh jadi CEO. But if you have an end in mind that at the age of 33 you want to be a CEO, right? You will start figure out how to get there.
Correct.
You get what I mean? So and the how tu dia akan datang once you have that in your mind kan.
Betul.
So I think for me
Yeah, I mean ada satu cerita dalam buku ni tentang one exercise lah untuk kita to find the pengakhiran easily. Is like you imagine you sekarang lying on the deathbed, and then like everybody was around, and then what do you want
Them to say to you.
what do you want them to say to you? I think that's
Or
a
what
very
they want you to apa kita nak orang tu cakap pasal
Pasal
you,
kita.
tentang
pasal you.
Yes.
What do and then that will help you uncover what you value in life. Like,
Correct.
is it family? Is it business? Or is it friends? Yeah, I think from there, I go through the exercise. So from there, I learned that my mom is very, very important to me. Like this is something that I hold very dearly, very close to me. So, and my wife, Joey. I hold very closely to my heart as well.
Oh.
So dalam chapter ni dia ada, I think it's this chapter lah, dia kata like the 4 quadrants kan, the urgent stuff, important stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, and knowing this end in mind, dia akan
Bantu parking
bantu.
mana kau
Yeah, exactly. You always like, like my mom, I'm Joey. I want to spend time with them, but it's always like there's more pressing things in business issues, customer like issues, delivery issues, but all this stacked up, and then suddenly I don't have time for my mom. I don't have time for Joey. So having the end in mind will help you in this way lah. Like
tengok apa yang penting.
yeah, and then if it's not really that that important, somebody call you, you see unknown number, don't pick up lah. Yeah, just don't pick up if you don't have the time. If you're doing like business, yeah.
Betul.
Yeah.
So dalam buku ni juga ada cakap yang semua benda dalam dunia ni happens twice. You remember this up? You told me also. It happens twice. One inside your mind and the next in reality.
Yeah.
Jadi setiap sesuatu benda tu jadi 2 kali, 1 kali dalam otak, 1 kali dengan dalam ni.
I think at the same time in our religion also it taught us kan, kalau Tuhan tak kasih kita satu benda tu untuk kita fikir, kalau benda tu tak possible.
It's not good.
If it's not possible, you won't even be able to think about it. You get what I mean? Your mind wouldn't comprehend it. But if you think it's possible, means
You won't even think about it
yeah.
But good point the deathbed, I forgot about that. It's really good. I need to reread this book.
Yeah, maybe
again.
tonight you have to think, man, how you act with me and stuff.
No, I will think what you gonna say about me when I die.
Yeah.
Great things. Okay, do you want to go into some examples of application dalam hidup? Aplikasi dalam
before
hidup.
that kan, aku rasa macam it's also important for us to have our own personal statement juga of who you want to be and what you want to contribute.
Correct.
You get what I mean? Macam kalau kau tengok kan,
Mission statement lah.
macam aku punya mission statement dekat aku punya Instagram, I want to make Malaysian believe they are world class.
Yeah.
Kan? And that is really what I want to do. I want Malaysian to believe they are world class. Of course, I will show first lah. I'm world class, right? And then I also want other people to start believing that also. And I think more Malaysians start to think of that also, because I believe when you have that kind of mission, it's also part of your contribution also to the society. Betul tak?
Betul?
Kau tengok apa?
Tak, aku tengah cari aku punya mission statement.
Oh. So I remember it by the on top of my mind. So it's
sekarang aku tahu I want to make AirAsia the most profitable airline in the world. Itu one of it salah satu. Tapi aku ada a few in different pockets
but
of life.
for me it's just more my personal mission statement lah. And I feel like dalam kebanyakan orang lah, dia tak faham yang macam okay, we want to go and find wealth, but what is wealth essentially for? Kan? For me, okay, you dah kerja satu benda je, last kali kan, what makes you feel good is when you start to give back.
Apa yang
When
nak
you
sumbang
start
balik
to help people. Betul tak?
Agree. Yeah.
Kau buat duit banyak-banyak, okay lah, you feel happy kan. Tapi the best feeling you have is when you give that food to anak yatim, you help them
nak bina
fix
masjid,
their house, kan? Bantu orang tu. That is the one that will make you feel so apa orang kata, fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
You have a personal mission statement that you can share, or it's very
No,
personal?
I've never written a personal mission statement before.
So maybe you should read this book another time.
Yeah, I should. One more time.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a lot to learn lah.
Because there's a lot of things kan yang ni kan, but
Correct. For you, maybe I can give you helping people sleep better.
Oh yeah.
Kalau Ashraf cakap helping people build generation. Bina generasi dan legacy.
The next generation.
Next generation.
yeah, and I think in the end of the day, it has to centers around life that is built on your, of course, built on money, built on work, on your spouse, so and your principle has to be centered lah in a way kan.
Okay, you want to give some examples of daripada kita punya guest ataupun dari kita diri sendiri? Do you have what is the end for, begin with the end in mind for Joey Mattress?
Begin
Maybe
in
you
the
can share.
end in mind.
How do you vision?
Yeah, just now I shared a little bit like how important my mom is in my life, my family, and Joey, my wife. So how having this end in mind, what I want to hear on my deathbed, I imagine my mom would be saying like, I've been I've been a very what's the word in English, like 孝顺 in Chinese, filial piety. Like in Chinese, there's this word called 孝顺, filial piety. It
What is
means
that?
that you've been in a way loyal to your mom, and you've done her right lah in her life. So I want that to be her, what she says about me, and how in order for me to have that, for me it means I have to intentionally spend time with her. So how that changed before I think maybe in 2019 or 2020, I never had like a schedule to go visit her. We stay quite far away, Sungai Buloh and Puchong. It's not far by distance, but when the jam is, and plus your working schedule, it's like 1.5 hours to Puchong. So
that's far.
when with the jam, with no jam, 30 minutes. Yeah, so I have to like intentionally schedule time. So right now I visit her every Sunday. But even so, I also think like it's just 52 times a year if you think about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the way like how like having the end in mind changed the way that I'm behaving
Currently
right now.
behaving,
Yeah.
Understand?
Yeah, and then also like knowing like what's important to me. For example, my wife is important to me, and so if there's times where I have to like prioritize whether or not like a night out with my friends or I spend the night with Joey, I would prioritize like spending time with
You
Joey.
use that back.
Yeah, I'll because I know
Use
like
that as a principle lah.
yeah, I use that as a principle exactly. Then that helps me guides my decision because it's always like this you have a lot of like different priorities coming to you, friends wanting to hang out. Not to say I don't want to hang out with my friends, but if let's say every single day they come to me, then I just say every single time, then I'll start like forgetting the things that is truly matters to me when I die. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I tell you, man, if everybody with your mom, if you can do it more, do it more.
Yeah.
Because I cannot, like my mom, I'm very close to her, but she is sick and I cannot talk to her. She cannot talk to me.
And it's been many years. Yeah.
Correct, about 5 years already. So I wish I would have spent more and more time, although I did as much, but it always comes back to me, and I always advise people that still have their mom that they can actually
But I
talk
think,
to.
to be honest with you, I think you have done really great as a son. I've seen
Inshallah.
how he treats his mother. I think you are one of the kind of sort of I tengok dia, I also feel like I should treat my mom like that. I know like that's
inspirational.
So the way he treats his mom is very good lah. So I think you shouldn't feel bad there lah. I think you have done well, and I think sampai hari ni pun kau masih kan pergi kat jumpa mak kau selalu.
But can do more. Now very busy also, but now you remind me again, so I will also akan buat lebih banyak juga.
But I want to take it into a different context a little bit lah. Macam contoh lah kita when we say about end in mind ni kan. I remember Pin Yang punya story.
Correct.
Remember Pin Yang, he said he had the vision already that who is he going to sell the business to. Then
Pin Yang, pada siapa yang tak tahu,
Business
adalah founder Foodie Media. So semua benda dalam foodie semua
hari-hari kau macam rasa nak pergi makan something tu semua pasal Pin Yang lah.
semua Pin Yang lah. Malaysian Foodie, Singapore Foodie, Bangkok Foodie, KL Foodie,
Macam-macam foodie ada kan.
Penang Foodie.
Lepas tu Kadi semua pun ada lah. Macam di semua benda belakang semua dia.
Homie, Malaysia Homie.
Apalah.
Anyways, so sorry, sambung kau ni.
So he actually, when he started the business kan, he actually visualized that he will sell his business to Brian Loo.
Correct.
And that thing actually happened.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think some of our other guys who macam Venom,
Correct.
from Zeus Coffee,
He
set
declared.
up. Yeah,
In the beginning of the year, he declared, end of this year, I want how many stores?
180 stores.
Yeah. Until
He
now,
visualized
1,000 stores.
Wow.
He opens 1 store a day. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
And I wanted to cakap Pin Yang pun, when we were interviewing him, he was walking here, and then I accidentally ternampak dia punya phone punya screen, kat situ tulis take Foodie Media public. And today it went public.
Wow.
Betul tak?
Yeah, betul. So I think in fact macam for me personally also, I think I've always had that also lah. Of course my end is not there yet, but I have it in mind lah. Like I'm still in the process of getting to that. But I think it's important for you to hold on to that also. Like for you mungkin you take it sampai deathbed kan. Macam
It's different already lah. Yeah.
That one is like wow. Kan?
Screw all business.
it's like,
Family first.
Yeah, it happens but
it shows.
then business is also important.
Yeah,
lah.
but for me, I take it until maybe the age of 60 punya end kan. So I see how I will be at that time. Maybe I've served the country, served the country a little bit lah in public sector. I've become, financially what I want, things like that lah. And I write it down and I put it lah. And I have, of course, my apa orang kata yang shorter vision punya, macam 5 years, 10 years punya.
Correct.
But at the same time, I also sort of have that 60-year-old me, what would I be doing?
Correct.
And maybe
Kita ada sembang dalam kereta kan about this. Like, what is your vision that you want to be a media magnate, or so kita tengah drive and then kita discuss lah. So I want to do this. That time
sekarang aku dah macam real juga kan.
Correct.
Apa yang kita sembang tu kan.
So media, be involved in media, do a lot of media. So that's something lah. Macam I said to him, I want to be a transport king. I said to him, when I'm older, one day I want to be. So but it's
anything transport, LRT ke, penjalan kaki punya, pedestrian punya ke, anything yang walking also transport what?
Correct. So part and parcel daripada salah satu how we use it, and I write it down. I also write it down in my phone. But always every year when I read a new book or I read Think and Grow Rich, I adjust a bit my personal using the 6 steps of desire, for example lah. So every single new input I adjust my personal statement. Tapi dalam Nazir Razak pun mention you should write it down. So write it down is something very good yang kita boleh aplikasi kepada hidup kita. Apa kita punya end tu.
Lepas episod ni terus tulis.
Terus tulis. Satu boleh take away untuk this particular habit. Balik ni tulis apa penghujung. Kalau nak guna Winston's style, bila mampus bila mati dekat dalam tu, apa kita nak orang cakap pasal kita. Sorry, minta maaf. Saja je. Okay, we want to move to the next habit.
Let's go to the next habit, which
The
is
next habit
put first things first. Ataupun dahulukan yang utama. Macam Winston senang, dia dah ada framework lah.
Correct.
Tadi.
So yang ni go back to you punya quadrant. So hidup ni ada quadrant, like you said, ada 4 quadrant. You were really, your memory very good, right? So dia cakap yang kita patut hidup dalam quadrant 2. Maksudnya penting tapi tak segera. Meaning we always fikir ke hadapan, penting tapi tak segera. Disiplin buat yang penting walau tak walau tak rasa nak, walaupun kita tak nak buat. So apa kita punya kuadran kedua? Kalau kuadran tu dia macam petak ni, kuadran kedua ni dia kan ada 2 ciri. Penting, very important, tapi tak segera. Maksudnya bukan urgent. Right? So this is apa yang the exact
dia ada 4 kan. 4. One is crisis,
tu urgent.
That's why it's urgent lah. Sekarang kena buat juga. Tak buat mampus kau kan. Number 2 is important but not urgent.
Betul.
Important but not urgent ni macam apa? Macam contoh Ishraq suruh bawa tak tahu lah. Tapi apa yang
wants to shoot
tembak aku. Tak jumpa pula punchline. But dia penting tapi tak urgent lah. Buat nanti
penting tak segera, tak penting tapi tak important is, for example, I take you as an example. Contoh you are building database for Joey Mattress. Dia very important but you don't need it now. If you don't do it, tak bina database tu sekarang, tak ada apa-apa jadi pun. Betul tak? Tapi for your future value, untuk nak kuatkan value Joey Mattress, you sepatutnya bina daripada sekarang, ataupun bina proses macam mana
to get there.
Bina proses pembayaran, bina proses receive duit. So these are all penting. Kalau tak, nanti bila you nak scale, bila you nak besarkan lagi business, tak boleh. Tu contoh-contoh that I can think of.
Betul. Now that you say this, I remember when masa kita start Joey Mattress, kita ada fulfillment tu macam kita dapat satu order, how am I going to send this order to my customer? Last time was just like when it happens, like kita dapat order tu, then only figure out, okay, how I want to send this order to this person. Then over time, this is always urgent This is quadrant, I think, one important, urgent. So you always get your attention. You do it, but you do it. Kalau tak ada proses yang tadi Ishraq yang kata, then it's always going to be like messy lah. Always urgent. And then you can't find someone else to do it. And then the not not urgent but important thing is to have the SOP lah. You figure out, okay, what's the pattern in this? Macam mana saya nak systemize ni so that kalau I'm not here, someone else can also run ini SOP. So that is one of the way to implement this dalam business.
Understand? And mungkin for me important tapi not urgent ni macam getting new clients. For example, because we already have clients yang tu urgent lah, we have to settle all the work, right? But getting new clients maybe not so urgent because you are comfortable, okay, dia boleh hidup. But it's important because if you don't, then tak adalah growth next year, kan? So for me lah, maybe that's also one of the tasks lah kalau nak bagi ni kan. And then quadrant 3 is of course segera tapi tak penting, urgent but not important.
Yeah, basically Q3 yang segera tapi tak penting ni, dia
that's the trap lah. Actually
trap.
macam you punya case hantar barang tu, actually that's the trap, man. Kan? Yeah, pergi hantar barang is actually not really urgent. It's actually not really important. I mean it's important because you have to deliver, but actually you can place a process to it, but you know, yang boleh free up kan benda tu, betul tak?
Betul. So maybe another example is macam nak hantar barang, then during the delivery process, a lot of issues happening. So naturally, if let's say you tak ada process, tak ada SOP, to issue confirm coming back to you, you have to figure out a solution on the spot. So always this is gonna be like crisis level.
Tu quadrant 1 lah, kan? Because kalau tak, you have to deal with it. Because it's a crisis and penting. Kalau tak, you will rosakkan.
Urgent but not important.
Quadrant 3 is like people
Benda-benda
calling you lah. People like random calling
correct.
you, and then you a lot of things. Those are quadrant 3 lah.
Sometimes your brother call him, say, bro, can you transfer me 50 ringgit? For him it's urgent but it's not important for us. That is quadrant 3 lah.
Yeah, I think changes from person to person. People have to figure out what's in the quadrant 3 for them.
So kita kena figure out. Lepas tu yang last quadrant is memang buang masa lah.
Buang masa
kan? Benda-benda yang macam
contoh TikTok. Kawan ajak pergi cicak dadah. Itu buang masa.
Main TikTok, scrolling or whatever kan.
Scrolling TikTok taklah buang masa teruk sangat. Ada juga time yang dia boleh jadi beneficial depending on how you use it lah.
Consume lah.
If they consume it to watch us, it's good for them, right?
Betul.
So that kita dah go through the quadrants.
Put first things first.
Put first things first. So macam mana pun last kita nak kena pilih lah apa yang penting,
paling penting,
and kita buat satu-satu.
Based on penting and bukannya based on the quadrant yang macam dia cakap benda tu urgent tapi tak ni. Alright, I think we covered much. Is there
you want to add anything
for first things first?
I think to wrap up, most of the time we are all like trapped lah, like quadrant 3 lah. Always we feel like it's important, but normally it's not important.
Tak penting pun.
Yeah, that's why like habit 2 is so important lah, for you to know where to filter lah properly. Because if let's say not knowing habit 2, what's important to you.
Habit 2 which is begin with the
end in mind. Yeah.
So it relates.
Yeah.
Habit 2 begin with the end in mind relates to first things first.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, if in your case, you want to help Malaysians feel think that they are world class. If let's say it's not related to that, those are not considered as important. So sometimes you can just like delegate it to someone else, or maybe just don't do it. For my case, it's like, okay, I want to get Joey mattress to be Malaysian's Milo equivalent. Oh no, sorry, not Milo. Vico, like a household brand equivalent.
Household brand.
Yeah.
Shield talks bro. Not so shield talk. Not so.
Yeah, household brand lah. So saya nak Joey mattress to become the household brand. So anything that is not related to this, I can find someone else to do this, or I can just choose not to do it.
So I think that is a very interesting framework. Okay, so you need to find out apa yang you nak capai tu, have the end in mind tu, and then decide your decision based on your
then
personal
you boleh
statement,
tahu you punya quadrant tu relate kan lah.
And when you say that, right, you're right tau, macam I think almost everything that I do, right, is making Malaysian believe that they are world class.
Leap Oxford.
Leap Oxford. Apa cerita. Even the brands that I do, of course kita nak buat world class. Milk is a fucking world class brand, man. We're already in how many countries?
So true to the values, true to the habits.
But of course I didn't really put that in my mind sebelum ni pun.
Tapi subconsciously
Subconsciously,
pun you will
yeah, it works like that.
It works like that, right? Dia macam, I think, you're right, man. And it's a good framework to have lah once you start to identify this thing, kan.
Correct. So very
Okay.
good wrap up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think we have gone through the habit 1 to 3, kan, which is all the diri punya ataupun private victory.
Correct.
We want to go into public habit
Public
4,
victory.
public victory and above. But before that, we want to take a short break.
Yes.
So that our audience pun ni boleh juga tulis-tulis apa yang dia dah belajar.
Fikir-fikir.
Lepas tu apa
Gaduh-gaduh.
kata, buat
Dengan
learning
diri
point.
sendiri.
Buat some learning points, what you actually learn.
Betul.
Because I think learning points ni kan benda yang sangat penting. Because when you learn something, you write it down, that becomes part of your memory. So write down if you want, and if you lagi bagus, you write down in the comments. Alright. So,
Share dengan orang jadi orang lain boleh bermanfaat juga.
yes.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll catch you after the break.
See you guys in a bit.
Alright, welcome back to Apa Cerita
welcome
Book
back.
Club.
Yes.
Bersama kita Winston daripada Joey Mattress.
Hi.
So
yang
kita
sudah membina berpuluh-puluh
family.
Ribu
family. Banyak pahala.
Correct.
Alright, so I think on the first half tu kita dah bercakap tentang quite number of principle, three principle dah so far. And I think one of the things yang, if I may recap balik sikit, one of the things yang really caught my mind was pasal end in mind, but doing that exercise of the last day of your life tu.
Yeah.
Because I can, like, if you do the exercise, I think it'll be very powerful. Like, imagine your kids talking about you.
Yeah.
You know.
Ashraf was talking to me just now about, wah, if aku betul-betul buat exercise yang mati tu, bila dah mati, apa kita bayangkan anak Ashraf cakap pasal dia, and your wife, isteri kau cakap pasal kau, your friends cakap pasal kau, apa Winston cakap pasal kau.
Yeah, exactly.
Kan?
You,
It's really-
I think your whole behaviour will change, right?
Perangai semua akan
Kan,
berbeza.
you nak cakap buruk kat orang pun rasa macam tak nak nanti nanti mati so apa dia cakap pasal aku ni.
And-
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
your whole I think it's very powerful lah.
Cara membawakan
And
diri.
that's why I said to Ishraq lah, that's why seminars still have place in the society, because in seminar you can do this
You actually do the
together.
exercise
Oh, yeah.
live. Yeah.
Kan?
Yeah.
I think that's powerful lah.
Correct. Okay, before
Maybe
kita
one day
masuk,
we can do the exercise together.
Yeah, we
And
can try.
We go for a retreat, and a small group of retreat, or kita do this kind of exercise. Because I
aku
think
punya
very
ni
powerful.
dah nak siap lah, a beach house dekat Terengganu. Then
Oh.
we can do a retreat for all business owners.
But you have so many beach house already,
Nak
right?
dah.
In Kuantan
Satu
and
je.
everything.
Okay, but before kita go into habit 4, and which is part yang tadi awal-awal is more of habit 1 ke 3, cover diri sendiri. Habit 4 ke 6 is cover bersama, kira kerja bersama. Tapi sebelum tu aku nak cakap, hari ni aku pakai baju up daripada G2000.
Wow.
So I wanted to
Oh.
share because I was
No
dorang
wonder
kasi aku
you look
gift.
cool today,
Ah,
bro.
really ah?
You look
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah, it's a nice
So
shirt.
kau pernah beli G2000?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Of course lah. Do you also use G2000?
I'm wearing one.
Huh?
My
Really?
pants, yeah, G2000
Oh,
pants.
right.
I have a
and
lot of it.
usually it's quite cheap. That's why untuk baju-baju kerja kan.
Yeah,
Like
I
for
style.
clothes.
I have 3 black pants. I just wear them every day.
The same one
Yeah,
from
same one,
G2000
because
lah.
I love it.
Yeah, I think I bought mine last time dekat JPO. But now they don't have my size anymore, so I have to diet lah.
Yeah, if you want, I can hook you up. I can hook you up. But basically, this is the, if I'm not mistaken, summer or spring collection. So it's really nice. Aku pun selalu pakai t-shirt kan dalam ni. So
nice.
today a bit more nicer.
Yeah, no wonder you look different. I was like, oh, kenapa dia macam smart sikit?
New style.
Okay, so we move to habit 4, which is
Think win-win. Ataupun fikir menang-menang.
Menang-menang.
dia a bit pelik sikit bila
Yeah.
bahasa Melayu tu, fikir menang-menang.
Yeah, but both side menang lah basically.
basically
Yeah. But I think one thing yang aku rasa the most important theme in this topic, which is abundance versus scarcity.
mindset. Dia
Mindset.
cakap pasal
Ni
mindset.
ni dalam kita punya mind. Because I think benda ni bro, benda yang paling kritikal lah. Banyak orang have this scarcity mindset. And I'm sorry to say, especially in the Malay society. That's why when you see ada orang jual nasi lemak kat sebelah tu, dia akan nak buat bomo lah, dia nak buat apa lah, because they think itu je yang ada. Kan, they feel like tak ada, apa orang kata, dia rasa macam kalau orang lain berjaya tu is like an ancaman for them.
Betul.
But actually you got to think abundance means it's cukup untuk semua.
Betul.
Kan setiap benda adalah abundance. Even duit pun is actually abundance, unlimited. Kan kalau kau ada duit, tak semestinya aku tak boleh ada duit.
Betul.
Sekarang ni Elon Musk dah jadi trillionaire. Lepas ni tak semestinya orang lain tak boleh jadi trillionaire. You get what I mean? There will be, in fact, bila Elon Musk jadi trillionaire, lepas ni kau akan tengok lagi ramai orang akan jadi trillionaire. You get what I mean?
Yup.
It's abundance that way. It's not like kalau Elon Musk jadi billionaire, Warren Buffett jadi miskin. Betul tak?
Ya, betul.
Warren Buffett still sama je. Still 300 million. Cuma this Elon Musk je yang gila-gila sikit sampai 1.3 trillion punya wealth now kan.
Correct.
So that is actually, bagi I lah, is one of the most important theme
Mentality,
lah.
cara pemikiran.
Yeah,
when
mindset.
you start thinking like that, then you can think of win-win. Sebab kalau you tak ada that kind of mentality, you akan rasa macam aku nak kena menang, aku nak kena menang.
Yeah.
Betul. Sebab
Anything
tu
like
lepas tu kita deal apa cerita ni selalu kau tak nak kasih can kan dekat aku.
Kau yang kan. He knows that was next point, so he wants to say it first so that he control the narrative.
Itu
Yeah. So dulu tapi bila selalu aku highlight dengan kau juga kan, we have to think abundance mentality. Bila kita fikir
Aku yang ajar kau macam mana.
So do you want to add a bit more tentang about this think win-win, this mentality and cara pemikiran think win-win ni?
Yeah, I think
To understand.
like Ashraf shared, I think the abundance mindset ni is very important untuk someone that wants to buat something that's truly win-win. Because if kalau you tak believe that win-win is possible, every time you offer a deal to someone, you always try to like win in that deal, and it's very obvious to that the other person that's receiving the deal to know that, hey, this deal only you're gonna win in this. Like then the trust won't be built.
And they also will feel bad.
Yeah.
And they also don't want to do business long term.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why Cik tak ada.
Yeah, so like win-win is that important. I can share an example from Joey Mattress business. So I think in 2022 we had a brand collaboration with 8 local brands. So in that, how do we pull together 8, and we did this collaboration all at once. How do we pull 8 brands together all at once and all of them came up with a very special product that they R&D themselves that's related to our brand. How do we do that is from this win-win. We started thinking about, okay, how do we let them win in this collaboration? We want them to make a special product for our brand. Collaboration, Joey X Good Pair Socks, Joey X Anatomy notebooks. How do they happen? They won't do like make a special notebook for us just because they need something from this ma. So in our case, we'll buy your products. We'll buy all your products, and it's all customized to us. We buy all from the 8 different brands, so they feel security. They treat this as a business deal, like they have like this customer that's buying in bulk, and then they are customizing for us. So from there, then we thought, okay, I will take in bulk, but can you sell it at cost to us? So you don't profit from this lah. We profit together when this collaboration works, when we get press exposure, when we go viral on social media. And it worked out like that. 8 different brands all sold to us cost price. They did a lot of heavy lifting in product R&D, and then we did a lot of heavy lifting in pushing this to the press. We got featured, I think, in like 20 different press, online press, and then also we got social media. They posted on their own platforms. We posted on our platform. We got a lot of different features, and then not just like our own platforms. Influencers was also receiving PR gift box sharing about this. So it was a very successful campaign, and then it started out with a win-win mentality.
Understand?
Correct. Tapi lepas tu aku nak kasih example juga. Memang betul, we have to selalu fikir yang win-win tu selalu kena ada. Contoh macam tadi, walaupun kita gelak-gelak cakap pasal kita punya deal bila kita buat apa cerita ni, tapi kita kena selalu fikir daripada win-win. So bila aku deal dengan kau, kita deal how is the percentage share or cost, how do we share the cost, blah blah blah. If I feel, kalau I ada rasa macam tak puas hati, we have to meet and settle it. Kalau but bila kita deal tu pun I tanya Up kau happy tak dengan ni? If Up rasa tak happy, we will still have to
Continue the negotiation lah.
Continue lagi the negotiation sampai we land on okay. Dia happy, which alhamdulillah selepas 2 tahun setengah kita land on something yang kita both happy. Bila tak happy je, I will always contact Up again. Up, we need, and of course Ashraf also very understanding and dia pun listen first. So as you can see also just now when we were preparing our script also, we run through together. Macam gaduh, tapi sebenarnya tak. It's more of
it's just the way we talk.
Correct.
Yeah.
To have a win-win. Jadi aplikasi untuk kehidupan semua orang. Kalau kita ada benda rasa tak puas hati, still jangan habiskan negotiation tu. Ataupun kalau yang kita tengah negotiate dengan, like how you say also, your 8 supplier, jangan berhenti dekat kalau dorang tak puas hati. Okay, you menang, tapi you akan sakit juga. You akan lose. You know, it akan jadi bukan menang-menang, dia akan jadi kalah-kalah. Because orang tu tak puas hati, dia akan cari tempat-tempat lain,
Okay lah,
main
simple
tepi-tepi
lah
untuk nak.
Kalau contoh lah, our deal tak cantik, I'm not happy, I don't show up to the podcast. Lose-lose for everybody lah.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a podcast.
Yeah.
We won't even start.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We won't go sampai 2 tahun setengah. You know?
So,
contoh.
So macam mana pun, I think first is the courage to tell apa yang kita perlu. Plus the consideration.
Correct.
For you to hormat also other people punya consideration.
Kefahaman and
apa orang lain punya point of view jugalah. So when you have courage ataupun you tell what you need, plus you consider other people punya tu, then you get win-win punya situation lah once, I think.
Yeah, I think over time you'll start to realize, if you practice win-win, you'll start to realize win-win is actually the best and the only way. Because if you put me right now in a win-lose situation where I'm the winner and then the other party is losing, I'll be scared because this person won't be happy when they start realizing this, and then whatever I'm building here won't be stable.
Correct.
Somewhere down the line, I don't want to build something that's not stable. I want to build something that compounds and builds bigger and bigger over time, stable. So yeah, always start like thinking like win-win.
And I think I have quite an interesting punya thought jugalah. Macam for example, macam my deal with Ganesh, kan? He has the infrastructure, he has the whole ecosystem. I have the network and also the marketing know-how, and our deal pun bagi I win-win lah. Kan? Maksudnya in terms of capital, in terms of apa I kena buat, apa dia kena buat, kan? So when we go into a win-win punya kind of arrangement ni, we feel like, for me lah, kita jadi lagi semangat. Kita rasa macam okay, we need to make sure ni kita
Pada
dah
siapa yang tak kenal Ganesh, basically Ganesh owns this company yang ada infrastructure untuk buat TikTok live, e-commerce.
And recently he was appointed as the chairman of MDEC.
Yep, I saw.
So lagi senang lah. So diorang tengok daripada chairman of MDEC.
Correct. And
So
then
I just
and then Up, you memang daripada dulu tanpa tahu kau duk collect nombor telefon artis, orang-orang yang influencer, bla 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 kan. Semua tak ada satu lah artis dalam Malaysia ni yang kau tak ada nombor telefon. I can guarantee you that. Or he would know another person that would know another person. So the partnership yang kat situ adalah win-win dari segi yang macam Up cakap.
And exactly, I think that is the exact point. Macam when you have your own strength, kan, that is even better. Then the win comes with your strength juga.
Yeah, that's why this is the second.
The synergy. Right?
Yeah, the synergy. Yeah, it has to start with independence, which you say like kita ada have our own strength first.
Correct.
So and that our own strength tu lah sebenarnya jadi leverage untuk kita.
Yes.
Yang menjadikan, you know, actually we don't have to come up with so much capital, so much thing, but because of the leverage that we have, they also think it's a win, because for them to get, for example, one celebrity mungkin akan cost them few 100,000, but maybe dengan I mungkin kita boleh, it's different arrangement, kind of thing kan. Maybe not even half.
Maybe artis tu bayar kau.
Hey, not the big deal. Artis bayar.
Kan. So dia ada maybe anything yang you want to add on? What?
So basically the win-win situation dalam segala perkara. bukan sahaja daripada segala bisnes, dari personal juga, dalam keluarga, dalam kerja. Contoh you dengan staff you bayar berapa gaji and berapa dia kasih give back. Kita nak cari kalau boleh dalam segala hidup kita untuk menjadi seorang yang efektif, seorang yang efektif dalam jaga hidup. Tapi like I said habit 4 ke 6 ni adalah macam mana kita bergaul dengan orang. So selalu cari satu solusi bila deal dengan orang kat kedai. Kalau kita menang besar dalam satu deal tu and orang tu sedar yang dia macam kena tipu, it's not win-win. It will become, dia akan menjadi dua-dua kalah. Because orang tu akan cari jalan untuk nak tikam you.
Yes.
And what not. You know? Okay? And zero sum game, 1 plus 1 bukan 2, tapi 1 tambah 1 is 10.
Yeah.
Atau 3 lah minimum.
Kita lagi ekstrim kan.
Dalam buku tu 3 kan.
Dalam buku tu cakap 1 tambah 1 3, bukan 2.
Dia jadi 10 kan.
Tapi kita orang yang ekstrim.
And I think ada juga something interesting, macam what our previous guest shared kan. Kalau you remember about the Trapo Boys, Zong dengan Zah, diorang bagi comeback percuma dekat dealer untuk test drive. Lepas tu dealer jaga kereta, Trapo dapat the dimension. Remember?
Betul.
Dia actually what happened was Trapo they needed all the dimension for the comeback untuk cars. Okay,
so
for
Trapo
all cars.
buat alas untuk kereta. For those yang tak tahu lah.
Yeah, so they need the dimension for setiap mat lah, so that easier for them to mass produce and whatnot.
Database.
Database lah, but they cannot go and get this data. So what they did, they went to all the car dealership and they say, you want free mat? So when they give the free mat, they get like the dimension.
Win-win lah.
This win-win.
They get free mats, they get dimension.
If not, they have to measure one by one themselves. They need to find the car. Where they gonna find the car?
So very smart move lah. So I think
salah satu contoh lah
and
daripada
then
kita
macam
past guest.
Pinyang pun kalau you tengok macam awal-awal dulu kan, dia bagi free content. Maksudnya kadang ada kedai-kedai nasi lemak ke, kedai-kedai apa yang viral, dia buat dulu content untuk dia, and then that makcik dapat free exposure, brand tu naik, and then Pinyang also dapat exposure and get brands also to
Very
build
good
attracted.
example. Very good example.
Kan? It's
Yeah.
win-win. Kan? So I think but in order for you to think win-win tu, you need to be
Apa you boleh offer?
and also at the same time you need to have the mindset of abundance.
Abundance. Yeah.
Mindset.
Kalau you scarcity mindset, semua
Tak cukup ni. Apa aku dapat?
Everything
boleh
you
ni.
need to calculate.
Dia tak boleh ni, dia dapat duit, aku tak dapat duit.
Dia jadi orang yang berkira dan tak ada siapa nak kawan dengan you.
Very true lah.
And you jadi miskin selama-lamanya.
Betul?
Betul.
Sebab apa? Sebab you have that scarcity mindset. And this scarcity mindset, right,
Poisonous bro.
poisonous gila, because you will focus on the negative things. You will focus on you nampak orang lain berjaya, you akan rasa macam tak boleh lah, kena jatuhkan dia. You know, you spend your life untuk try to jatuhkan orang instead of building yourself up. So I think I think that is one of the biggest takeaway lah from this chapter.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else want to add before we move on to the next chapter? I think this was a good discussion.
Super good. Yeah.
And ada satu ni lah, if you win so big that the other side feel cheated, that's not a deal. It's a future debt.
Yeah.
Wah.
Yeah.
Good way
Very
to
good.
wrap it up.
It's in the book lah.
It's in the book.
Wow. I
That's
don't
why
even
every
remember.
time you read, you baca lagi sekali,
Ada
and
new.
you dalam fasa yang berbeza,
Bro, wifey.
kita akan dapat input yang berbeza.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's move to habit kelima, which is seek first to understand. Maksudnya faham dulu baru difahami. So seek first to understand, kita kena faham dulu seseorang baru kita
Okay, aku rasa kan
biar
this
difahami.
chapter kan, it's so relatable towards the world we live in today.
Correct.
Like when people see a certain thing, right, they look at it, it's not because dia orang bukan tengok untuk nak faham, dia orang tengok untuk nak attack. Faham tak? Ataupun untuk nak reply, ataupun they want to reply instead
Ni
of trying
macam
to
personal
understand.
je. Kau
No.
ada
I mean personal not also lah kan. Tapi I think it's quite apa, sekarang kau tengok macam contoh orang baca news kan, they don't try to really understand what the news is about. they just want to comment.
Oh right,
You know,
yeah.
and
They look
then-
at the surface only.
They nak baca like the headline, and then they start commenting, and then it becomes like they take things out of proportion, and then dia jadi macam dah tak tahu apa dah kan. So I think this is one of the biggest communication problem lah.
Betul.
When we listen, not to understand, but to reply and to debate.
Yep. So ni habit kelima ni, sebagai seorang yang efektif, kita selalu kena mendengar sebelum and fahami sebelum kita nak nak bagi nak reply atau apa.
Dia contoh macam doktor lah.
Correct.
Kan doktor kena tahu you sakit apa dulu, baru dia boleh bagi prescription.
Ya, betul.
Kan?
Ya.
Kalau dia jenis yang tak nak dengar,
Ya.
orang tu datang, aku tahu kau sakit apa. Mana boleh? Kan?
And I want to relate back to how to win friends and influence people also. I said like we have dua telinga, satu mulut, right? So selalu banyak orang bila, and you tengok je hari-hari bila you deal ataupun tengah meeting ke ataupun you tengah duduk sembang-sembang, mesti semua orang dia tak dengar dulu. Tapi dia mesti bila dengar tu dia tengah fikir apa nak reply.
Jawab,
Yeah, so this is salah satu about this particular chapter. Kalau kita nak jadi seseorang yang efektif, kita kena dengar, baru kita fahami betul-betul, baru kita reply. Jangan terus rush. And it's okay to pause. Tunggu dulu, fikir apa nak reply, baru kita reply. Betul tak?
Betul. And back to doktor
doktor.
punya example kan. Contoh you datang kat doktor tu, and dia datang, you bagi tahu lah, you ada sakit sikit kan. Lepas tu doktor tu jawab, itulah kau, pergi lagi main hujan kat luar. Tak balik. Ada doktor mampus kalau doktor tu
belum dengar lagi kan.
Dia tak dengar, dia nak marah pula. Dia nak prescribe apa. Dan dia pun tak faham. Lala budak tu pun macam tak apa, tak nak cerita lah. Kan, balik rumah tak dapat ubat dia kan. So tak adalah, masalah tu tak selesai kan. So I think that's why it's important lah to really have that listening punya skill. And I think after doing the podcast, right,
it trains, dia latih kita kan.
We have to sort of try to listen and try to understand juga. In fact,
both
this
of you very good listeners.
we try lah. And in fact, this was one of the first things yang our coach say lah. Our dulu kita ada podcast punya coach kan, Yasmin. So dia cakap, okay, you have to listen. And listen to understand.
Correct.
Kan, always cakap.
And then there's all the techniques lah, like paraphrase, after dating, feedback, all this podcast techniques lah. But just to highlight is that last time also in our comments, so many people say we always cut the guests. So we read the comments, kita baca komen tu, dan kita fahami, and then we
kita tak adalah baca, lepas tu kita nak pergi maki dia balik, engkau ni tahu apa kan. Tak kan, kita dengar, kita faham. Okay,
Do you have any, ada tak apa-apa pengalaman yang you tak dengar orang, lepas tu?
I think this habit is like the most difficult to practice lah.
Forever.
Forever thing. Because like you also said, both of you went to classes to learn about how to like listen better.
And we still cut you.
not me. No,
I just cut. Sorry.
But yeah, like when sometimes it's not like you want to cut. Sometimes it's like you really like you maybe you're nervous, like you want to figure out how to reply. For me, for example, like I find it very hard for me because whenever someone is telling me something and they're telling me about, let's say, their life, they're sharing me what they did today, and I want to like, I don't want them to feel like they're not responded. Like suddenly I leave them hanging, but I'm thinking deeply about like what they're saying. So I try to respond now when they stop, then I want to reply. But when I do that, then that's when I stop listening. I'm starting to think like, okay, what can I reply to this person? So that's something that I'm facing off for this habit. I think in order to do that, to practice this habit better, is just to just slow down and listen, and then just be comfortable. Like just let it, just be silent for three seconds. It's okay lah. Then only say. I think it will help a lot lah.
Correct. And I think memang for us, for me, I've read this book, I've read the How to Win Friends and Influence People, dah baca macam-macam buku pun, still kena ada continuous reminder, which we will go to habit 7, yang kita kena sentiasa macam kita ada this session. Besok mungkin I akan become a better listener, besok I dengar lebih. Tapi it's always a constant reminder lah, this particular habit kan, walaupun nak ni. But I always see I purposely kalau bila kerja, I'm at Asia or ni in a meeting, I look this one doesn't follow this habit.
Now you become judgmental.
People no analyzing. Not judgmental. Oh, this guy is bad. No, I'm
Identifying lah.
Yeah, identifying. This is, because like macam you cakap, it's something yang susah. Amatlah susah untuk orang nak ikut untuk jangka masa yang panjang, because after a while you terlupa, dia jadi. So for me, that purpose is for me to remind myself. It's like, let that guy finish first, then you talk. But then you can see that this person is not listening to this person first and then replying straight, but that's the nature. And I'm pretty sure korang yang tengah tengok sekarang pun ada, baru hari ni ataupun besok, you tengok, go to your office and just tengok siapa yang tak dengar ni, make it as a case study. Jadi salah satu pengalaman pembelajaran untuk for me lah. Yeah.
I think something I can share is that it's for this habit, it's easier to macam tak listen to orang yang what orang that the person is telling you lah. When that person is more junior than you, let's say your sister, your brother, little brother, I think it's very easy for this to happen because we think that we have it figured out already. They come to us with a problem, then straight away we start running our script. This is how you should do it. This, that. I think maybe not just us to our brothers or sisters. Maybe it's for our parents to us.
True.
Yeah, it happens that way. Like because they've been through a lot, but a lot of times, I think it's not about the advice. The advice can be right, can be what you needed to hear, but still the listener won't take it in, because they don't feel
They've
hurt.
been hurt.
The trust isn't established yet. But when you listen deeply and then you really just listen, then you can establish that trust. And then when you say anything to them, they can hear it better. They will accept more lah.
Yeah, I think they put it in a framework also, which is 4 levels of listening, which is, you say, first repeat, rephrase, and then catch the feeling, and plus both, which is empathetic listening ah.
Yeah. Betul. Yeah, that's it.
When you listen to, you sort of have to catch the feeling also. Like you have to put yourself in their shoes. Then you become a better listener juga.
Yeah.
And if you actually saw a recent, I was scrolling on Instagram, I saw this test. Diorang cakap proof that men don't listen. It was with 2 lemons. 2 lemons.
And then?
Yeah. So 2 lemons, and then the guy said, okay, how many lemons are there? 2. Lepas tu the girl said to the guy, then the guy said, it's 2 lemons. Okay. So if you're right, then I win. But if I'm right, then you win. So technically, so how many lemons? If you notice, the girl said, if you right, I win. If I'm right, you win. So the guy said, it's 2 lemons. Okay, menang. So menang with duit So that's the current ni
So didn't hear it properly
Yeah.
Correct. Because tak dengar. Dia sekarang, okay, aku dua lemon.
Dia fokus
aku
at
nak,
the kata
aku nak
kerja.
betul. Fokus nak betul.
Yeah.
Betul tak?
Yeah.
So in that sense Okay, I think we quite considerably covered this particular habit. I think to be effective, to end it, basically kita kena dengar lebih daripada kita menjawab, and fahami seseorang in order untuk kita menjadi seseorang yang efektif. Alright, and next, habit number 6. This one technically kita dah terselit masuk tadi juga, which is synergize. So habit ke-6, bersinergi. 1 + 1 equals to 3. According to the book, but according to Ishraq, it's 10. Because we maxed out.
You know why it's 10 to him? Because he's Ben Kamarudin. Ben Kamarudin tu yang akan bagi semua benda max out tu.
Semua nak paling power.
Dia jadi 10. 1 + 1 10.
My sister asked me, should I get the DJI 4 or 3? I said, we always go for the best. Get DJI 4. But what's the difference? I don't care. Get the latest DJI 4. I said, just like ayah.
You don't even want to know what's the difference, right?
Yeah. Just get the best. The best is always the best, right? So, okay, let's go back into kefahaman dalam synergy. Basically, synergy pilihan ketiga. Like macam mana we cakap, in terms of Winston, he has choice whether nak belajar ataupun ni, he always have pilihan ketiga. But ini bukannya bukan not my way, not Ashraf way. However, there's a third way, which is both ways. So similarly, macam you cakap, if you were to do macam you punya apa deal dengan your 8, I don't want to cough out any duit, but I want to collaborate with 8 of the brands. I don't want to cough out any money, kan? Tapi kita buat ni. I'm sure your 8 collaboration tu orang tak nak pun collaborate dengan you. Tetapi you find the synergy yang bukan cara dia. Kalau dorang nak jual je kat you. Tetapi tak ada ni. But you found that win-win, right? So this is basically apa synergy is all about lah.
Betul. Dia macam dalam buku ni dia cakap macam 2 plant kita tanamkan dalam satu soil. Lepas tu both roots akan intertwine, so dia akan both grow stronger.
Tumbuh dengan lebih kuat lah.
Basically
rather than you satu tanam lagi satu tanam. And then anything else yang kita nak explain kepada viewers tentang being
synergy.
Habit synergy.
I think both of you here is the example lah.
Of
1
synergy.
plus 1, it's synergy. Like both of you being able to like have Pertrator podcast, and then like also like right now have this book club. I think this is very synergistic lah. Like can you imagine if you're alone and then you want to like pivot into a new category, and then you have to do it by yourself? It's so hard because like you only have your own knowledge. You don't have the other person to like synergize with you. I think that's one way I see it. Like the synergy example I can think of is the collaboration with the 8 local brands. Like you said, if kalau I didn't come up with the win-win deal with them, there's no way we can synergize like that. Like why would they want to customize an R&D a new product for us that's a collaboration product? What's the benefit in them? And then also why would they want to just accept cost price? They don't profit from this, you know. Why would they do it? I think it's that synergy that make this deal possible.
And I think if you take back to apa cerita juga kan, you're right, you raise a very good concern. Macam if I were alone, right, how would I do it? Kan, betul doh. I couldn't do it without you, man.
Mungkin takkan buat kan.
Mungkin takkan buat, bro.
Dah fikir 2 tahun kan sebelum
2 tahun
actually buat. And I bought all this equipment maybe 6 to 8 months sebelum kita actually buat.
But without me, he would only have 3 or 4 viewers. So that's the
synergy lah. Okay, you give it to him.
Okay, tapi
win-win. Abundance mindset.
Abundance mindset. Have it. Ambil. I don't need it. Have it. Tapi sebelum you kena tidur luar rumah, is also you and your wife also synergy building Joey Mattress. Right?
Exactly.
Itu pun salah satu contoh. So
in fact, kalau kita fikir betul-betul, husband and wife also is actually synergy, because when you combine the two, get another one.
1 plus 1 equals 3.
Right?
It's not two.
And the kid will, for example, right, the synergy of the kid, for example, kan, bila budak tu besar, budak tu jadi macam you. You know, a good son, a son that provides for the family, a son that does tu kan. So that is the buah of the synergy juga.
As simple as that. Contoh yang sangat mudah adalah satu perkahwinan adalah satu sinergi dah. Because 1 tambah 1 jadi 3. Right? 10.
Patutlah bapak kau cakap 10. Dia banyak anak kan.
Almost 10.
That's the thing.
Okay. Anything else kita nak cover tentang explainkan tentang penerangan of synergy?
I think satu example that saya boleh share tentang business lah. Synergistic, yang one thing that's very synergistic that happened recently untuk business saya, to mattress makers. So
the top of the mattress, is it?
Mattress makers yang business baru.
No, the sofa, the kedai.
The kedai, kedai tu. So all this while Joey Mattress kita adalah satu brand online. We just do online, kita jual online then deliver. Kita tak pernah jual anything offline. Setting up a store, renovating a store, we have no knowledge at all. So Mattress Makers is not something that Joey Mattress as a company we did ourselves. It's actually a joint venture between company kita dengan satu manufacturer yang lain. So both of us, we manufacture our own mattresses. We have our own. We run our own brands. But then we saw the third alternative. Like instead of competing with each other, kita joint venture and complement each other. Like our expertise dalam branding, dalam marketing, dalam building great products. Their expertise in also building great products, making great products, and also running offline store, something yang Joey Mattress, in me and Joey, something that we don't know or not very good at. So we bought this joint venture, and then we are able to cover both of our weaknesses with our strengths. So then we open Mattress Makers. In order, I think if let's say we didn't come to this Mattress Makers partnership, kita tak boleh buka satu kedai dalam such a short period of time. I think we opened our first store while also like building the Mattress Makers brand all within 8 months from the start of building the brand, and then at the same time start looking for location to rent, and then renovating it. All happened within 8 months. Yeah.
Interesting. And I think I pun nak tambah satu lah. I terfikir tadi kan pasal one of my friend juga, dia punya business nama memang Synergy.
Nama business?
Synergy something I can't remember. Tapi dia buat business nama dia Aiman. So he's good at finance, he's good at raising funds apa semua kan. And then ada juga, and also dia pandai on SOP and whatnot lah. But at the same time, banyak juga founders atau business owners, diorang susah kat part tu nak raise funds apa semua kan. So he then pergi help this company, and then selalu dia akan dapat lah all the funds apa semua kan. Sebab apa? Sebab dia dah tahu macam mana nak raise, macam mana nak structure the company, macam mana nak make sure it's bankable, macam mana nak make sure investors would want to invest. You get what I mean? So untuk this person, right, yang nak cari the funds, they might have amazing business already, but they have no understanding on finance. Kan? And then Aiman pula, dia understand finance. Mungkin dia tak go deep into building brands ataupun building his own ni kan. So he's good at what he does kan. So that becomes a great synergy lah. Kan? Everybody wins lah. Aiman can get his service out, and at the same time the brand also dapat ni kan. So I think that's also a good example of synergy lah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so that is the last habit untuk bab kedua, which is public victory. Habit 4 ke 6, public victory, which is menang bersama.
So kita dah habis dah lah yang public victory punya part.
Yeah.
So just to remind everybody, daripada habit 1 ke 3, private victory, menang diri, kita covered tadi, be proactive. Salah satu untuk kita nak jadi seorang yang efektif is jadi proaktif. Kedua, habit kedua, begin with the end in mind. Mula dengan pengakhiran. Untuk kita nak jadi seorang yang efektif, kita kena selalu fikir dengan pengakhiran. Macam basically guna waste dalam hidup. Alright. Dan habit ketiga, put first things first. Dahulukan yang utama. That one habit ketiga untuk part kedua. And then part untuk meaning public, habit keempat untuk
Think
jadi
win-win.
efektif, think win-win. Dan habit kelima, seek first to understand, dengar, faham dulu, baru difahami. And then habit keenam, synergize. Satu tambah satu dapat anak, bukan
Empat. Tiga satu tambah
dapat
tiga.
anak, bukan dua.
Yeah.
Alright, and last but not least, habit ketujuh, which is
Sharpen the saw.
sharpen the saw. Tajamkan gergaji. Siapa pernah dengar cerita dua orang potong pokok, seorang tu langsung terus potong, lagi
Aku
seorang
tak pernah,
tu
tapi aku nak dengar. Cerita kan?
Okay.
Aku pernah dengar.
Alright, so ada dua pokok, lepas tu ada dua orang, and ada dua saw.
Gergaji.
That's where sharpen the saw ni come from, the story. So satu orang ni dia terus loncat and start potong pokok tu. Lagi seorang ni dia tak terus potong, dia tajamkan dulu pisau dia, dia punya saw, gergaji, then baru dia start potong. And siapa yang habis potong pokok dulu adalah yang sharpen the saw first. So
And so interesting because bila you punya saw sharp,
tumpul
you punya effort less, but you get better results.
Correct.
Kalau you punya saw tu tak tajam, you buat lah gila-gila pun, dia akan jadi sikit je dia punya effect kan.
Betul.
So actually there's a deep understanding lah. Maksudnya you buat sikit dapat lebih. Kan?
Leverage.
Almost like a leverage kan. So that's why I think this is probably one of the most important topic lah.
Betul.
Yeah.
Right. So untuk orang lagi nak ni, maybe we can go into deep dalam sebagai sharpen the saw, dia dalam macam-macam aspek. Dari physical, dari mental kita, social and also spiritual. This particular book club, kita buat book club ni pun is itself sharpen the saw. Kita dah remind diri kita today, dengar lebih, right? Kita remind, kita alignkan between, bayangkan bila kau dah meninggal, macam mana apa anak kau cakap. Kita technically kita tengah sharpen the saw sekarang ni.
Betul.
Technically kita adalah effective
sharpener.
people.
Yeah.
The sharpener to make Malaysia world class.
Yeah, the sharpener. The sharpener to make people world class. So kita
Rupanya kita sharpener kan.
yeah, and then we go back to the cerita yang apa cakap about the golden goose. Kan, we protect the goose, jaga angsa tu yang beranakkan telur emas.
Yeah.
And then kenapa habit ni 7 bukan habit 1? Because kita boleh fokus, kita boleh sihat, tapi kita salah direction. Kita boleh sharpen the saw untuk macam mana nak curi rumah orang. Betul tak? So kenapa habit 1 ke 6 tu adalah penting sebelum kita can actually sharpen the saw. Jadi kita
Because
tahu
you need to sharpen the right saw lah. You tiba-tiba
apa-apa
sharp benda
disharpen.
lain pula kan. Tak jadi sharp dah.
betul lah.
Jadi rosak kan.
Betul,
Yeah.
jadi rosak kalau you jump straight to this habit. So kenapa dia habit 7? Because dia memang by design. Right? And then kita kena selalu continuously. That is what this sharpen the saw is. So okay, let's go with examples ataupun
Maybe
cara-cara.
we get some of your input first.
Yeah.
Tadi ada kata like angsa,
Yeah.
angsa, golden goose kan. Yeah, we are the golden goose here lah. Like that's and then the golden eggs is our outputs lah.
Correct.
So sharpen the saw ni, I think what it's trying to say is we have to take care of ourselves because we're the one that's actually doing the work.
Correct.
Yeah, like we're the ones that's actually practicing habit 1 to 6. So maybe I can share. And then I haven't read. I tak pernah read habit ini until the moment you reach out to me for this book club. And the reason why I didn't read, I realized, is because at that time I fikir I can't read habit 7 yet because I haven't even fully understand and practice habit 1 to 6. So I just leave out. So there's no point to read habit 7. Yeah, and then you said just now sharpen the wrong saw kan. Yeah, maybe I read a little bit of that and I say okay, maybe I don't want to sharpen the wrong saw. I have to practice habit 1 to 6 first. So then I started reading. Then I started realizing, wow, this chapter is something that I actually needed to read earlier because something happened last year that is the direct result of me not sharpening the saw. So I think around March last year, I got eczema. And then the eczema was really, really bad. Dia start from neck saya all the way down to my feet. Yeah, and then it's so bad that I had to get admitted into hospital and get steroid injection, get antibiotic injection. I was there for like 3 days in the hospital, and then when I look at it, why it happened, why I got this eczema flare, was because first of all, Joey Sofa at that time, we were launching Joey Sofa, going into a new business category, number 1. And number 2, preparing for my wedding. A lot of things to handle, stressful. And then social life, I don't want to let go. Because at that time, it's Chinese New Year, a lot of hangouts, a party, I don't want to let go. I just want to party all the way until midnight, 2, 3 a.m. Then in the morning, I don't want to let go. I want to go to the gym. I wake up 6 a.m., still go to the gym. I keep on doing this. Yeah, do this for a few months, then my body fell sick, and I still don't want to slow down because I have everything. My business need to go, my wedding need to. It's already planned, It needs to happen already. And also, Joey Sofa, we're running a lot of events. I think we have an event in April, another one in May, and another one in June. Everything needs to go. I cannot stop, and I don't want to stop. And at that time, eczema hit me. That's when I realized I have to stop, because if I don't stop, this eczema is going to really
Affect your life.
affect my life. It will destroy my body. It's so bad. It happened onto my face as well, right here, everywhere. it's like everything is red, and then it's like big areas. If you search like eczema, those very worst case you'll see that's
I
the
didn't know
amount.
that eczema can
Yeah.
actually be that because of you tired and all this
Yeah.
until that bad.
And it's not just because of tiredness. Just now you mentioned that 4 dimension, right? Emotional, social, spiritual, physical, and mental.
Everything you maxed out. right?
Everything maxed out, everything don't take care of. Yeah, that's
Semua
why
tak
like,
jaga kan?
everything, semua tak jaga. And that's the lesson that I learned. Like during that time, when you get sick like that, suddenly your priority is health. Yeah. You cannot say I want to go to the gym. You cannot say I want to hang out. There's just no way already. Your body is forcing you to slow down, forcing you to
Suddenly
stop.
everything doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Except for health.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Then-
lucky is eczema, not something more serious. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. So during that time where I have to stop, I wasn't reading this book, but I think this was the right book that I needed to read. But at that time, I learned a lot. I learned to regulate my stress. I learned to like take care of my mental, what I think about my thoughts. Back then, I was like thinking like, oh, business always comes first. But that's not always the right thoughts. And yeah, I learned a lot. And then this book, and I read it, it's what I needed to hear. Like how to balance all 4 different aspects.
Protecting the goose.
Protecting the goose, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very important lah. And I think macam it resonates very well to me juga. Macam I personally pun, I think of course kita penting juga untuk rehat. That's why sometimes we take trips and stuff like that. And then macam Ganesh also kan, remember he shared that every year macam tu dia akan ada 2 weeks off, go for retreat. You know, because that one is actually, rehat ni is more of like it's like your fuel untuk you go further.
Yeah.
Kan, it's not like a present for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually your fuel. You punya bahan api untuk you go further. That's why you need to take care of your health. Macam you cakap tadi lah.
This
It's also a very point yang kena dengan I jugalah. Sebab yalah, whatever I do sekarang pun, kalau nanti tak sihat mati, tak sihat tak guna juga.
Yeah.
Last kali you are forced to duduk rumah tak boleh buat apa-apa kan. So I think important lah to
from the point of I didn't see this chapter daripada pandangan aku kan. Chapter ni is more of upgrade, make us better.
Not
but
just that, but
you kasih I specifically a different pandangan yang berbeza, yang which is to protect the goose. And happens to be aku baru saja jumpa dengan Riyad, which is ex-Asia CEO and also my mentor. I think it was yesterday, Monday. Yesterday was Monday,
I saw
right?
picture, yeah.
Yeah. So I was with Riyad. Lepas tu dia tengah basuh aku because I was explaining to him that this is my life right now. I was explaining to you also, right? Morning I go to work at Asia. After I sambung meeting Petit Muar, and I do all my other businesses. In the morning I spend time with my wife, and it's very stressful. And he said to me, move your work all to the morning before you start working, and whatever, don't work at night, spend just with family. Because from one way or another, because kita percaya dengan berkat and all this, family give like there's this other spiritual daripada from a different angle lah, in terms of spiritual belief, that when you don't prioritize your family, things won't come to you. And when you prioritize, things will probably come. So I was like, oh, now you're telling me this also. So ni is a second reminder that I will really need to look into how I structure my schedule lah. Because with your mother punya point of view, I can be honest, I see my mom less once a week now, right? Whereas before I always see at least every day or 3 times a week minimum. But this is a good reminder for me, this particular session, and I'm very thankful lah to you, and we have this conversation. Jadi aku boleh implement. I have to do it fast. At least cover whatever I have to cover first and then protect my nights with my wife, and I'm
Yeah.
happy my wife is also always a good reminder saying to me, you have to like I say I want to eat something. No, diet. She said, it's okay, mental health. Eat what you want. Sometimes it's okay, mental health. You have to also protect your mental health.
Yeah.
Don't go all out but you exhaust yourself.
Exactly.
Separuh jalan you tak boleh cover kan. Alright.
And
Itu
I think-
daripada ni lah.
Yeah.
Angle protect
And
the
I
goose.
think one of the other aspect untuk sharpen the saw is to also take reflective trips. For example, to Oxford. For example kan, macam you take that kind of thing. Actually, it's not untuk kau pergi holiday ke apa. Like I mentioned, it's also to fuel the fire. And I feel that personally
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Every time I go to Oxford, you sitting with the right mindset ni orang.
You bringing me kan next.
Hopefully man. Hopefully if you can come. Kan? So you know, it's actually not just a retreat. It's more of, you know, untuk you balik, untuk you bakar balik you punya semangat kan.
Correct.
And I think a lot of successful people, they like to do that also. They like to take trips out, learning trips. Kan. Sometimes of course lah, you go for holiday is fun, but once in a while you have to have the learning trips. That one is to fuel your mind,
Correct.
to fuel your soul juga kan.
Kalau kau tengok yang macam people that pergi yang Oxford Leap tu, Kopiku dah ada berapa ratus kedai. Right?
55.
Also still pergi.
Yeah.
Sharpen the saw.
Yeah.
Are they effective people? They are, I think. Kan ni contoh-contoh orang yang effective. Still pergi Oxford Leap. Dah beratus-ratus kedai. I think multi-millionaire. Right? It's not dia punya first business. And then you have siapa lagi yang power?
Like Nani kan,
Nani,
Bakery.
Gula Bakery berpuluh-puluh juta juga sale. Kan?
Opai when he started, you know, actually that was betul-betul sharpen the saw punya
Correct.
trick for them.
Yeah.
Macam especially for Opai. Macam dulu I remember when he came, branding dia memang out gila babi. But of course we cannot tell him lah. Tak, betul tak? Takkan lah dia punya, you look at the brand, fucked up the brand. Takkan you nak cakap dengan dia, bro, this one looks bad. You cannot say that, right?
Now it's better already lah.
Oh, now it's 1,000 times better.
Very
lah.
good. And this relates to Habit 6 synergy. When you go to Oxford Leap, ada synergy.
Yeah.
People kasih
Kasih dia thoughts. And kita tak payah be very direct and blunt to him pun. But because people will give him honest input, so he will get the ni. And then today I see his brand so proud. Because it become like a real international brand. Okay, it become something yang macam kalau you letak benda tu dekat anywhere pun, you're proud to say, you know, this is a local brand. You know what I mean? So I think yalah, that is important lah, to take a step back, sharpen your saw, take a step back to sleeping well, you know. And I think there's a few people yang ada masalah tidur kan, macam what I did, kalau I ada masalah tidur, I get melatonin kan. Melatonin will help you.
Are you sure?
sleep. Yeah.
Okay.
Magnesium help also.
Magnesium. I just started taking.
Yeah, I'm also taking magnesium.
Ada quite a number of products out there already. And you don't have to take it every day lah. You just take it once to regulate balik. Esok you just change the habit, and you know you can ni balik. But yalah, you have to
Macam-macam
adjust
cara lah.
Macam-macam
Kan?
cara. But in the end of the day, you got to take that important step for you to have better thoughts. Kalau tak, your thoughts will be blurry.
Yeah, I think we touched on like a few different areas, which is very important. Like just now, you touched on sleep, which is physical, dalam 2-4 dimension, and you also touch on family, which is spiritual.
Correct.
I think which very important, because if let's say we keep on working so hard to the point that every hour is filled with work, and then we don't have time for the things that are important to us, like family, then what are we actually working for? What is
Correct.
all this money
Betul,
for?
betul.
Yeah, this is like the spiritual aspect that needs to be balanced lah. And then like also the social aspect, like you said, getting exposed to like-minded individuals. Just now you at Oxford Leap, and then like being exposed to people like this, then suddenly you see what is possible, what you can achieve more, how can you be more, and then inspires you, it gives you the drive, and that's the social, I think, emotional aspect lah, of like sharpening the saw. Yeah.
Summarize power.
Oh kan.
Did we just find our
Third guest.
third member for our book club?
I need to improve bahasa Melayu
Bahasa
saya dulu.
Melayu. Baru nak cakap. But you have to do a synergistic approach where we have the value of you being here and you get the value of training your BM.
Yes, yeah. Right. Yeah,
That is the synergy.
I like that, yeah.
Okay, kita hampir menghujung
Dah sampai ke hujung lah.
tu Tuhan ajar
Tarik balik
kasih lah dia. Baru kutuk orangnya
Okay,
BM.
but before that, I want to do one segment, a short segment kan.
Yeah.
You
Very fast.
Very fast. You agree or bullshit?
Yeah.
Okay. This statement you agree or
BS
bullshit?
lah. Kalau cara baik BS lah.
BS lah.
Okay.
Okay, if you don't know what BS means,
Yeah.
that's what it means.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so tidur 8 jam equals to orang yang tak ambitious. If you sleep 8 hours a day, it means that you are not ambitious. Do you agree with that or you think that's BS?
Yeah, that's BS.
That's BS.
That's
right?
BS.
You?
Dulu aku agree, sekarang I say BS.
BS. You
Protect
actually
the
need-
goose.
Yeah.
Betul lah. Dulu I pun agree.
you lah.
Kerana I fan Kobe Bryant. You all
Ah,
watch ah.
walk her.
Kobe Bryant say I only tidur 4 hours a day. Then I was like, okay lah. I also want to sleep 4 hours. That's why eczema.
I follow Elon Musk.
But I think to be honest, 8 hours not so important lah. Maybe 6 hours, 7 hours is good enough.
Yeah, different body, different needs. As long as you wake up feeling like refreshed, like rested, then it's important.
Elon Musk kata 6 jam. So
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, mission statements are only for corporates. You agree or you think it's BS?
Half can lah.
Half-half. I also half-half.
Yeah, half.
Betul?
I agree. I think mission statement should no. It's not only for corporate, it's also for us lah, for ourselves lah. That's why I say I want to make Malaysian believe they are world class.
Yeah.
Because I believe you have to have a corporate statement for your corporate company, but
you also have
for
personal.
personal.
What's
but
the
you
question
repeat.
again? Sorry.
Mission statement.
Mission statement are only for corporates.
Oh,
It's for companies
BS.
only,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
BS. Yeah, okay, understand properly. Yeah, BS. Personal vision statement very important. Just now you all asked me, I was thinking, I need one. I need one.
Yeah.
Can?
Yeah.
I need to revise mine. Okay.
If the product is good, marketing doesn't matter.
Kalau produk bagus, marketing tak penting.
BS.
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 Yeah.
Marketing is gonna put your product on steroid. Yeah.
But if your product is bad, also put your steroid to close down.
Yeah.
Kan? Betul. So you
yeah.
do marketing product bad, you steroid mati.
Betul
Betul.
juga, yeah.
But if your product is good, with marketing it goes crazy.
Yes. Yes.
But
100%.
without marketing, people don't know your product. Nobody is gonna. I mean, if your product is damn good, also people don't know. No
Yeah,
point. Like,
exactly.
nobody will buy also, right?
100%.
Alright, next one. Win-win is naive. In business, someone has to lose. Menang-menang ni naif. Business memang kena ada orang yang kalah.
You agree,
Agree
with that
atau
or
BS?
100% BS lah.
Yeah, as we have given example. Kalau you agree, maksudnya you boleh join Trump. Betul tak?
Hey, but Trump
It's about
pun kalau
the
kau
art
tengok,
of deal.
dia last semua win-win tak?
Oh,
Kan?
yeah,
Betul
yeah.
tak? Last
The
kali
recent
cakap
deal lah.
blah, 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 tapi last mesti dia bagi win-win juga.
Let's see.
Let's see.
No lah, I mean like that's at least what he tries lah to
I just want
show.
stable petrol prices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's
Yeah,
see.
let's hope for that, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Work-life
next.
balance is myth for founders. Agree lah kan?
This why I can.
I don't think for founders there is such thing as work-life balance per se.
It's more
But-
work-life integration.
Yes.
Yes.
Work-life kalau siapa nama dia? Jeff Bezos dia panggil work-life harmony.
Yeah.
That's a nicer word.
Yeah. Integration macam terlampau.
Yeah, macam
Too
too corporate.
Yeah, macam mana balance like 8 hours you want to work, 8 hours you don't want to work. Yeah.
You have give and take.
Yeah,
You know, win-win with your wife right?
Yeah, sometimes it's like you have something you want to launch, then you have to work harder.
Correct.
Then sometimes you have lesser things to do. Then
Don't worry, after this we go Paris.
yeah.
One day when I'm rich,
Kan?
I buy you whatever you want.
Contoh.
Yeah.
And so work-life balance is a myth for founders. And
Yup.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay, so we are at, kita adalah dekat penghujung kita punya book club. And before kita tutup, we want to just do one more round of rehash. Basically, just a bit of input from everybody. Habit mana paling susah untuk betul-betul hidup ikut, bukan sekadar faham. Basically, apa yang
To live on lah.
To live on. Yang mana satu susah nak apply and betul-betul follow.
For you?
For you?
Habit 5. Seek first to
Listen.
understand,
Understand.
then to be understood. Yeah, yang paling susah.
For you, Up?
I think semua senang. Macam tu.
graduate.
You know, but I think mungkin seek first to understand juga. Sebab as much as we want to understand people, sometimes we have the tendency to speak out and sometimes without them finishing first. And sometimes I realise that about myself juga tau.
Aku
And
pun
then-
realise pasal kau.
But if you see, I will try to pergi balik. Macam tadi kan.
You ada awareness lah.
I try lah. Kalau tak ada
Because we
minta
read
maaf
this
lah.
book kan, pasal baca buku ni.
Yeah. So but I think that one is harder to live by lah.
Yup.
Senang cerita lah.
Betul.
Senang cerita but hard to live by kan.
If for me, semua susah. Tapi kena selalu ingatkan diri lah.
He's trying to be
Humble.
He wants to show the different side lah.
Yeah, we have to balance the room.
Okay.
Okay, next.
If you only kept one habit for life kan, which and why?
Habit 1, 100%. Be proactive.
Proactive, right?
Yeah. They open up small possibility in life lah. If you understand this, just one habit lah.
Yeah, betul. And I think as I grew older kan, I realised how important being proactive is. Kan? And in fact, when people are proactive around me, I love it. Kan? I like my team who are proactive. Kalau orang yang tak proaktif ni lama-lama I rasa macam semak dia ni kan, apa kau ni setiap kali tanya aku je kan. You have to proactive to find answers. Kan? And that's how people start to suka dengan you juga. And that's how you change your life. Kan? Macam if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
Just today something
Jangan
happened.
tunggu kan, jangan tunggu.
Yeah. Just today, I was talking to my friend kan. So this guy, he helped another friend of us to get more clients. But we also close to him, but he never give us client. Turns out because the other guy asked, we don't ask.
Correct.
Faham tak? Kita tak pernah tanya dia. So how would they read our mind? Kan? So yeah, I think you have to be proactive and ask lah.
Yep.
You get what I mean?
Betul?
Yeah,
so
betul.
And proactive ni aku just because it's very funny, I was laughing when we interviewed Datuk Isham. And then this is an advice to everybody to be proactive. Kenapa? Because walaupun kalau kerja atau mana-mana because Datuk Isham cakap he will go to talented people, he will just light the fire. Sebagai seorang ketua, dia akan light fire untuk artis ke or
light fire
staff.
as in light the spark for them to
light the spark.
Ni lah.
Correct. And remove obstacles. Tapi kalau dah light the spark, semua tak proactive in this relation, and then I will start looking at other people already. Kau ingat kan? So
How
if
many
you
times you want to spark? You know?
Yeah, exactly,
With this
exactly.
person that cannot be
Correct.
helped, then you cannot help lah.
your boss can only do as much ni untuk kebanyakan orang lah yang bekerja.
I want to mention one thing kan. I remember this guy. His name is Ridwan. So I'm a busy guy. So he wanted me to help him, mentor him on his business. So of course I pun kadang-kadang ada masa, kadang tak ada masa. But this guy is so good at, he's very proactive lah. Dia akan first get the meeting with me. Okay, then I advise him apa semua kan. And then what I really like, he actually does what I said and then update back. Cerita balik kat aku apa semua.
What I've done.
Apa semua, and ask for more time from me if I can tu. So for me, the second meeting is an easy yes, because I've seen that okay, he actually did what I ni kan. Versus some people, I dah jumpa 4-5 kali, they still talk to me about the same fucking problem.
Or they're just talking about their dream. Oh, I want to do this.
Lepas tu I got this problem with my brother, for example. 10 kali jumpa masih lagi
Sama
problem
je.
dengan kau punya brother. When are you gonna solve your fucking problem?
Why you're so stressed?
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But certain people who are proactive, they solve their problem.
They find solutions.
They find solution.
They don't just find
Yeah,
problems.
and this is all business solution. Bagi I susah kot sebenarnya kalau macam I cakap dia kan. I remember dia punya business is teaching MC how to MC. And then I told him, how many people wants to be MC in this world? Not that many. I told him, why not you go and teach people how to be a public speaker, especially kids. And then he started this thing called Little President, where he teaches people on public speaking. Bro, dia dah ada berapa ratus student bro sekarang.
Nice.
Wow.
Just because of one simple thing that I asked him to change, and he did it. If he didn't do it, he will come back to me and say, bro, market tak banyak orang nak jadi MC lah. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
He'll
yeah,
come back to me with the same problem, but because he's proactive, he knows, oh, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about, because it's the same skill. Betul tak? You ajar MC untuk MC, and you ajar budak untuk jadi public speaking.
Yeah.
Which one you think banyak lagi budak?
Yeah.
Banyak lagi orang.
Budak.
Of course, then parents would be happy to pay for the kids to be able to speak in public. In fact, this is what the parents want. And he did it.
Yep.
Soon I will buy that company. Jadi
Okay, so I think we all can agree the
I
number
also have to
one.
be proactive.
So aku rasa kita semua boleh agree dekat sini yang habit paling penting yang kita tak boleh let go of is proactive.
Betul.
Because to unlock. So ini gives back to the ending of this. Kita dah cover semua. And dalam buku ni yang
this
kita
is
should say
powerful.
is the thread. So every habit dalam buku ni, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 until 7, minta kita lepaskan satu benda, which is menyalahkan orang lain untuk selalu nak jadi betul, right? Ataupun nampak hebat. So this salah satu contoh. So every step of this we have to let
It's
go.
like,
We change, kita tukar, ubah kita punya paradigm shift so, untuk menjadi orang yang lebih baik.
Yeah, and I think it's like the 7. It's like a staircase. It's not
Correct.
a list. Like
Yes.
you say lah. That's why you stop at 6, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
Because
I'm
you
not there
haven't-
yet.
Yeah, then now you are already at 7 lah. Nearly every
Beyond
habit.
7.
Yeah, nearly every habit asks us to let go of something.
Correct.
Yes.
Kan? If you want to be proactive, you have to let go of being reactive.
Correct.
If you want abundance, you have to let go of scarcity.
Correct.
So it's all about changing our behaviors.
Paradigm.
Kan?
Very right,
And then
yes.
the most important is if you change your map, you change your life. You change the way you see things, you change the way you view life.
Yeah.
You change your life.
Yes. Yes.
It starts with the way your mind yang change. And one of the most powerful quote lah yang aku paling suka dalam buku ni is sow a habit, reap a character, sow a character, reap a destiny.
100%. 100%.
And you were
Betul.
changing life, right? When I asked Vincent, we're gonna do this book, he said, that book changed my life. I said, change my life too.
Yeah.
But
It
keep
really
it,
changed
wait
your life.
for the Tapi tunggu kan. Tapi
Yeah,
that's what happened lah.
But this is so powerful. You know, you change your habit, kan? Then you get a new character.
Yeah.
When you reap the new character, you
Change your destiny.
reap your destiny. Okay, you get a new destiny.
Correct.
That's how your life changed. That's why what happened to you happened.
Yeah. It's a
Okay,
very
because this step-
foundational thing.
Yeah, you change your habit, man. Then for me, you know, it's a powerful
Practical book.
practical book and also
the quote.
powerful reminder for me also,
Yeah.
especially talking to you.
Yeah.
Kan, because you have a different kind of angle juga.
Correct.
Kan?
Yeah.
You make us feel more.
And I learned a lot from both of you. So
Yeah, thank
I
you,
learned a
thank you.
lot
We
from
learn
your
from
stories.
each other,
Yeah.
synergies.
Yeah, synergies.
So we'll think about next book ah.
Hey, boleh. Yes, let's go.
BE
Let's go.
2.0. Okay.
Oh.
Before we close, anything from you, Vincent?
I think to close this book, maybe for some it's intimidating, maybe a thick book lah. But I think the way to read this book is to really like just go one habit at a time and then practice it. I think it's most powerful that
To
way.
learn but not to do is not to learn.
Don't just like rush through the entire book just to know like all the habits. But I think the essence is in practicing it lah. Yeah. Even but after listening to podcast ni and then start practicing pun boleh. Yeah. Don't need to actually read this book. But most important, like you said lah, have to do it lah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing your thoughts with us. I hope our audience will enjoy, a different perspective from you. Anything you want to say?
So I'm very happy today. A lot of reminders for me as well. I dapat, and it's such a pleasure. Adalah sangat memberi satu keseronokan dan kehormatan untuk have our guest Vincent to join our podcast.
Betul.
In this session lah.
And also the wife Joey behind the camera today.
Betul.
Yang apa
Cheerleader.
and also
Bila
become
dia
our
gelak,
loyal
kita
guest.
tahu kita punya joke tu lawak.
Betul. Oh, she's easily entertained.
No, I'll go with the former. Alright.
Yeah, so I hope you guys learn something
InsyaAllah.
from this book. Throughout the whole podcast, kita lupa nak cakap, suruh you guys subscribe.
Yeah.
If you guys
Subscribe
haven't
is free. Ya,
and I
up.
hope- yeah.
Kau tahu tak, sejak kita daripada kita start, aku baru check kita punya data, 70% yang belum subscribe, yang tengok dulu 90% when kita baru start. Kan
Oh,
kita selalu ulang dah jadi proses kita. Lala kau cakap, "Pergi mampus lah viewers kan." Bukan pergi mampus viewers. We want to be really focused.
We already happy with the current crowd yang kita ada.
Correct,
sebab you guys
correct.
are the ones that give us apa orang kata semangat dan juga fuel
Betul,
untuk kita
betul.
terus going, the right crowd.
Correct.
Kan.
So, but I want to say terima kasih from the bottom of my heart and Ashraf that kita punya subscriber 70% tengah tengok yang belum lagi subscribe. So kalau boleh kita tengok
Naikkan lagi.
dalam setahun lagi, let's make it even lower.
50% okay lah.
Tak 30% lah.
30 lah lepas
So do subscribe, it's free.
Yeah.
Put in the comment below kalau ada salah and kita minta maaf kalau ada
Ya,
salah
I pun
silap.
minta maaf juga kalau ada salah silap.
Kita
kalau
banyak
ada,
hari ni tak excited ada tips
kalau
Saya
ada
geng
pun
baru.
minta maaf. Saya pun minta maaf.
kalau ada terbantai sama siapa secara tak sengaja
Tapi
Alright.
it's untuk kebaikan.
InsyaAllah.
InsyaAllah.
Alright, we'll see you guys in the next episode. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.